Hello students, welcome to Interconnecting Physics. Today I will teach you electrostatics of conductors, in which we will study when conductor is placed in uniform electric field, then what will be the properties a conductor shows. And we will also study dielectrics and properties of dielectrics in uniform electric field. So without wasting time, let's get started. For regular updates, you can follow me on given links. So, before studying behavior of conductors in electric field, first of all, we should have some knowledge about conductors. So, what are conductors? The materials which allow the flow of electric charges through them easily. And basically, in conductors, there are large number of free electrons which are free to move inside the conductor. Okay. Basically, conductors consists of very large number of free electrons, and that electrons only move inside the conductor. They cannot leave the conductor. They cannot come out of the conductor. So what are free electrons? Free electrons are the electrons which are present in the outermost orbit of the atom. Suppose we take the examples of copper. Atomic number is 29. You know copper is good conductor of electricity. Now, then configuration 28 4s1. This 4s1 is the outermost shell in which one electron is present, and the distance of this electron from the nucleus is very large. So the attractive force between electron and positive nucleus becomes less. So this electron, we can say it is loosely bound, means it is not in the strong field of nucleus. So let us consider a copper wire. Okay, copper wire is made up of very large number of copper atoms, and every atom has one valence electron. When we consider copper wire, means we have very large number of free electrons, but these electrons under the electric field can move inside the wire. They cannot move outside the wire. They cannot leave the wire. Okay, and the atoms of the conductors which lose the electrons, and if we struck out one electron from the copper, then copper will become copper positive. That is, the atoms of the conductor which lose the electrons become positive ions, and these ions are immobile because only electron inside the wire will move. Wire will not move. Wire will be at rest. It will not move. Only electrons which are mobile. Only electrons which are mobile, they move inside the wire, and the positive ions are immobile and cannot move. They are bound charges. Okay. Now, some electrolytic conductors, means liquid conductors. Liquid conductors. Liquid conductors which allow current to pass through them and dissociate into ions. For example, copper sulfate solution, NaCl solution, in which electrolytes dissociate into positive and negative ions like Cu2 positive, copper 2 positive, sulfate 2 negative, sodium positive, Cl negative. And here, from solid conductors, one difference is very important. In solid conductors, only electrons are immobile. Okay. In solid conductors, only electrons can move. Only electrons are mobile. But here, both type of ions, that is positive ion, negative ion, both can move. Both are mobile here. So under the effect of electric field, positive ions move in the direction of electric field and negative ions move in the direction opposite to the direction of electric field, because force acting on negative ion will be negative of applied electric field. So it means for negative ion, the force will be opposite to the applied electric field. And if suppose electric field is along positive x-axis, then force on negative ion will be along negative x-axis, and force on positive ion will along the direction of electric field. Now, what are insulators? Insulators are just opposite to the conductors, are the material which do not allow the flow of electric charges through them because the electrons are tightly bound to the nuclei and they are not free to move. So, insulators don't have free electrons. It has electrons, but they are bound to the nuclei of their parent atoms. So, it means insulators don't allow the flow of electric charges through them. Now, electrostatics of conductor. Now, we are in the chapter 2, that is electrostatic potential and capacities. In first chapter, that is electric charges and fields, I have taught you about conductors. Okay, but now again we will be discussing conductors, behavior of conductors in the electric field. Okay, so number one property is inside a conductor electrostatic field is zero. Inside a conductor electrostatic field is zero. Number two, the net charge inside the conductor is zero. Net charge inside the conductor is zero. Number three, at the surface of the charged conductor electric field is always perpendicular to the surface at every point. Means electric field is always perpendicular to the surface. Number 4, sorry, the charge always resides on the surface of the conductor. Charge always resides on the surface of the conductor because inside it is zero. Number 5, electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume of the conductor and has the same value as inside, means conductor is equipotential surface. Conductor is equipotential surface. Number 6, electric field at the surface of the charged conductor is given by this relation. And number 7, we will discuss about electrostatic shielding. So let us discuss one by one. Number 1, electric field inside a conductor is zero under electrostatic condition. For this, let us suppose we have conductor of this shape. Conductor is neutral, means it has equal number of positive and negative ions. But when conductor is placed in some external electric field, which is denoted by EXT here. So what will happen? The negative electron starts moving in the direction opposite to the electric field because the force acting on each charge, each electron is minus E electric field external. Okay, so this negative sign shows that electron will move in the direction opposite to the direction of electric field, means they will move along negative x-axis, and the positive ions and the positive charge, because the electrons have been moved to the left side, so right side will become positive. Okay, and this negative charges on left side and positive charges on right side will produce some internal electric field, has direction from positive to negative, which is denoted by INT here, means internal electric field. Now this internal electric field is equal and opposite to the external electric field under electrostatic condition. Okay, this external electric field is equal and opposite to the internal electric field under electrostatic condition. Electrostatic condition means if E external is, let us say, 10 Newton Coulomb inverse, then the movement of charges, the redistribution of charges, that is negative electrons on the left side and the positive on the right side, will stop only when the internal electric field will be minus 10 Newton Coulomb inverse. That is the electrostatic condition, and at that stage the electric field inside the conductor, the net electric field inside the conductor will be zero because the external electric field and the internal electric field will be equal and opposite, and the net electric field inside the conductor will be zero, and the diagram will be like this. Okay, because if net electric field inside the conductor is zero, it means electric field lines cannot pass through the conductor. Okay. So electric field lines are like here. This is negative surface. So electric field lines are ending on negative. This is positive. So electric field lines are originating from the positive charges. I also told you in chapter 1, that is electric charges and fields, when we discussed the properties of electric field lines, that electric field lines don't pass through a conductor, don't pass through a conductor. And I also told you in chapter 2, I will tell you. So this is the time I am telling you that the electric field lines don't pass through a conductor, because net electric field inside the conductor is always zero. Is that clear? It's very important property. So let's start with next property, that is net charge inside the conductor is zero, that is rho equal to 0. Rho is net volume charge density. So let us say we have spherical conductor this time. And we know net electric field inside the conductor is always 0. So let us apply Gauss theorem. Okay, let us suppose we have Gaussian surface here. And let us apply Gauss theorem, that is closed integration of E dot ds equal to Q over epsilon naught. What is Q? Q is the net charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface. Now we know that net electric field inside the conductor is 0. So means left hand side of this equation will be 0. So Q over epsilon naught will be 0. Okay, so this implies Q equal to 0, means net charge inside the conductor is 0. Or we can say that volume charge density. Volume charge density is charge divided by volume. If we take any small volume, okay, then if dq is 0 inside the conductor, then rho will be 0. So it means charge is 0 inside the any volume of the conductor. We consider any volume, but charge will be 0, because the volume charge density is 0 inside the conductor. Okay. Now let's come to the third property, that is charge resides always on the surface of the conductor. This time let us suppose a charged conductor, because this time we have considered neutral conductor, that is equal number of positive and negative ions. So this time let us suppose we have a solid conducting sphere and we are giving excess positive charge to the sphere. Let us say we are injecting the charge. Okay. Now we see, when we inject the charge to this solid sphere, charge will move and come to the sphere. Charge will move and come to the surface of the sphere. Because according to property number 1 and 2, property number 1 says net electric field inside the conductor is 0. And due to this, property number 2 says net charge inside the conductor is 0. So it means if excess positive charge which we are giving to the conductor, if it is inside the conductor is 0, then where this charge is going? It means this charge is moving on the surface of the conductor. Okay. If excess positive charge given to the conductor is not inside, then it is obvious that charge is moving to the surface of the conductor. Okay. Property number 1, electric field inside the conductor is 0. Property number 2, net charge inside the conductor is 0. And number 3, charge always present on the surface of the conductor. Number 4, conductor is an equipotential surface. Conductor is an equipotential body. That is, equipotential means same potential at every point, same potential, or potential is constant everywhere. Okay. So it means electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume of the charged conductor and has the same value on the surface as inside it. Means it has same value inside the conductor and on the surface of the conductor. So for this, let us suppose we have a solid conducting sphere and we have 2 points, point A and B. Let us consider, at point A the potential is VA and at point B the potential is VB. Since you know it is equipotential surface, so it's not possible. we have two values. But to prove it is equipotential surface, let us consider we have two values of electric potential, okay, VA and VB. Then we know that change in potential, that is potential difference, is negative of A to B E dot dr, line integral of electric field, and this is the field which is inside the conductor. And we know inside the conductor the net electric field is 0. So it means right hand side of this equation will be 0. So VB minus VA is 0. So it means VA equal to VB, means potential at A is same as that of potential at B. If we consider some point C and we say potential at point C is VC, then we write this equation. Then we also see potential at VC is equal to potential at VB. Means potential at every point inside the conductor is same. Now, let us suppose we are going from point C to point D, that is on the surface. Okay, and here potential is VC, here potential is VD. Okay, then apply this equation VD minus VC equal to minus integration from C to D, because we are moving from C to D. Okay, E net dot dr, because we are moving from inside to the surface, and from inside to the surface electric field is 0. Again Vg minus Vc equal to 0 and Vb equal to Vc, means potential at point C is equal to potential at point D. It means the potential at a point inside the conductor is equal to the potential at a point on the surface of the conductor. Means it has the same value on the surface as inside it. Okay, so let us suppose, now we know that we already studied in properties of equipotential surface that electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Okay, now let us say that electric field is not perpendicular. Let us suppose electric field is not perpendicular. Suppose electric field is going in this way along this sphere, it's not perpendicular. Let us say it is not perpendicular, it is going along the sphere. Now we also know that from this relation E equal to minus dV upon dr, direction of the electric field is always in the decreasing potential. So it means if it is going along the sphere in this way, then at this point the potential will be, let us say, 1, and at this point potential will be V2, and you know V2 is less than V1. Why? Because electric field is going in this way along this sphere. So it will going in this way, it means potential is decreasing in this way. It means we have two values of potential. We have two values of potential, which is not possible because we already studied conductor is an equipotential body. It means it's not possible that electric field is going in this way. Electric field is always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. We already proved this, that electric field is perpendicular to the surface by this relation, that is dW over Q naught, that is work done in moving a test charge from one point to another point on the equipotential surface. Okay, it was E dot dr integration, okay, minus, and if dW is 0, that is no work is done in moving a test charge from one point to another point, so dW will be 0. Then E dot dr will be 0 and E dot dr will be 0, so it means E dr cos theta will be 0. E cannot be 0, dr cannot be 0, so what will be 0? Cos theta will be 0. So it means theta is 90 degree, and theta is in between the electric field and equipotential surface. So electric field is perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Okay, is that clear? That conductor is an equipotential body, that is in conductor inside and on the surface the value of potential is always same. Okay, and number 2, if it is equipotential surface, not if it is, conductor is always equipotential surface. Okay, it is equipotential surface, so electric field vector is always perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. Okay, so let us discuss next the electric field at the surface of the conductor. What is the value of electric field? Because electric field inside the conductor is 0, it resides only on the surface of the conductor. Then what will be the value? Let us consider any conductor of any shape. Okay, let sigma is its surface charge density. Let us consider Gaussian sphere in the form of cylinder whose some portion is inside the conductor and some portion is outside the conductor. Now we have three surfaces, 1, 2 and 3. Since third surface is lying inside the conductor. So it means if it is inside the conductor, and we know inside the conductor electric field is 0, so this will correspond 0 electric flux. Okay. Now this is the curved part. This is the curved part. In curved part, if we say electric field in this direction, then ds vector, area vector, is always outward normal, outward normal. Okay, and outward normal means it is toward your side, or we can say like this. Then it means E vector and the ds vector are perpendicular. So it means when we apply Gauss theorem, cos 90 will become 0. So it means electric field, it will also correspond to 0 electric flux. Okay. Now we come to the third surface or first part of the cylinder, in which E and ds vector are parallel to each other. So let us apply Gauss theorem. Closed integration of E dot ds equal to E ds cos 0 degree. Cos 0 is 1 and E can be taken outside because on the Gaussian surface electric field value is always same. Okay, equal to Q over epsilon naught. Closed integration of ds, let us say the surface is ds, surface area is ds, and we know sigma is equal to charge divided by area. Charge will be sigma into ds. When we substitute these values here, ds cancels out with ds and E equal to sigma over epsilon naught. So this is the value of electric field on the surface of the conductor. You know, from this relation, if sigma is negative, then electric field will be toward the surface of the conductor, toward. Okay, and if sigma is positive, electric field will be outward normal to the surface. Okay, means for negative charges, the electric field will be normal inward to the surface of the conductor, like this, inward. Okay, for negative charge. And if sigma is greater than 0, that is for positive charges, the electric field will be outward. Okay, normal to the surface. In vector form, it can be written as E vector equal to sigma over epsilon naught n cap, where n cap is the unit vector normal to the surface of the conductor. Okay, let us discuss sixth and final property, that is electrostatic shielding. Very important. The method of protecting a certain region from the effect of external electric field is called electrostatic shielding. Okay, let us suppose we have a conductor and here is a cavity inside the conductor. It means we have pulled out some material from the conductor and there lies a cavity. You know, we know that inside the conductor net electric field is 0. Net electric field means E equal to 0. Okay, if E is 0 inside the conductor, means it is also 0 inside the cavity. Okay, and you know, in under the effect of electric field which we have applied, and we also know that under the effect of uniform electric field, the charges, electrons and positive charges, lie on the surface of the conductor. Okay, so it means the charges will redistribute and will come on the surface of the conductor. Electric field inside the cavity, including the conductor, is 0 because electric field inside the conductor is 0. That is, the cavity inside the conductor will not experience any force. This will not experience any force due to the charges present on the surface of the conductor because the net electric field is in 0 inside the conductor. This is called electrostatic shielding because we have protect this cavity from the electric field. Okay, and this concept is used to protect sensitive instruments from the effect of strong electric field by enclosing these in metallic cage. Okay, and in houses we use generally earthing, which is called as earthing or ground. By doing this, we can protect our sensitive instruments from the strong electric field by enclosing these in the metallic cage. Or sometimes in thunderstorm, it's very safe to sit in a bus or in a car because it is made up of some metal and it becomes metallic cage. Okay, when we sit inside this metallic cage, we are free from the electric field which are generating outside the this metallic cage. Okay, so Now we have studied conductors, the behavior of conductors in the electric field, the properties of the conductors in the electric field. Now come to dielectrics. What are dielectrics? Dielectrics are the non-conducting substances having no free electrons. In simple language, we can say that dielectrics are insulators. Now let us discuss behavior of dielectric in external electric field. Let us suppose, again, I repeat about behavior of conductor in electric field. When we placed conductor in electric field, what will happen? The negative electrons move left to the electric field and the positive charge resides on the right of the electric field. And the internal electric field is just equal and opposite to the external electric field, cancel out each other, and net electric field is zero inside the conductor. But in case of dielectrics, what will happen when they are placed in external electric field? Negative ions move toward the left of the electric field, because on negative ion the force is negative, that is opposite to the external electric field. So they will move toward the left surface of the dielectric, and the positive ion will move toward the right surface of the dielectrics. Now, the difference between conductor and dielectrics here is the internal electric field, which is produced due to this positive and negative ions and having direction from positive to negative, is opposite to external field but not equal to external field. Okay, this internal electric field is not equal to external. Okay, here internal electric field was equal and opposite to external electric field, but here internal electric field is opposite to external electric field but not equal. It is just reducing the effect of external electric field. Suppose external electric field is 10 Newton Coulomb inverse and internal electric field is 6 Newton Coulomb inverse. Then what will be the net electric field? 10 minus 6, that is 4 Newton Coulomb inverse. I mean, this internal electric field is reducing the effect of external electric field, but it is not cancelling the external electric field. Okay, hope you are clear with this. Now, let us discuss this concept by taking molecules like polar molecule and non-polar molecule. Okay, substances may be polar or may be non-polar. Okay, so polar substance, a polar molecule is one in which center of positive charge and negative charges are separated. Center of negative charge and center of positive charge are separated, and you know, equal and opposite charges separated by some distance will constitute dipole. Okay, so it means polar molecule has its permanent dipole moment. Now we are talking about polar molecule. If we consider a substance, substance is made up of large number of molecules and every molecule has its permanent dipole moment. What is dipole moment? It is the either charge multiplied by the distance between the two charges. Okay, let us say it is, if it is 2L. Okay, so when we consider substance, substance is made up of large number of molecules and each molecule has its permanent dipole moment. But under the effect of zero external electric field, what will happen? The net dipole moment will be zero. Why? Because under the effect of zero electric field, these dipoles align in random fashion. In random fashion. And the dipole moment of 1 cancels out with dipole moment of second. Dipole moment of third cancels out with dipole moment of fourth, and so on. And in this manner, the dipole moment, net dipole moment becomes 0. But when we apply some external electric field, what will happen? All the dipoles try to align in the direction of electric field, and let us say dipole moment of this is P1, P2 and so on. So all the dipole moments will get added and we get some net dipole moment having some value. Okay, under the effect of zero electric field due to thermal agitation means the energy acquired by dipoles at 25 degrees Celsius is called thermal energy, which is called thermal agitation. The dipoles of every molecule are oriented in random fashion and they cancel out each other. So net dipole moment is zero. But in case of polar substance, when we apply some external electric field, all the dipoles try to align in the direction of external electric field, and each moment, that is each dipole moment, gets added and we get some net dipole moment. Okay, and this concept is called as polarization because we get some net dipole moment and the process is called polarization. Okay, and the substance from which we are getting net dipole moment is called polarized substance. Okay, and the polarization depends upon strength of electric field, strength of external electric field, and also depends upon thermal energy, tends to disrupt the alignment. If external electric field is very large as compared to the thermal energy, then all the dipoles will align in the direction of electric field. Okay, now let us discuss non-polar molecule. A non-polar molecule is one in which center of positive charges and negative charges coincide. Means there is no difference in the positive and negative ion. There is no distance. It means dipole moment of every molecule is zero because equal and opposite charges are not separated by distance. Distance is zero. So dipole moment is zero. Okay, molecule has no permanent dipole moment. For example, oxygen, hydrogen, carbon dioxide. But when you see here, in the presence of zero external field, it has no permanent dipole moment. But when the external electric field is applied, what will happen? The positive and negative ions of the non-polar molecule displace in opposite direction. Negative ions will move in the direction opposite to the electric field and the positive ion will move in the direction of the electric field and the displacement of the charges will stop when the force acting due to electric field is balanced by the internal restoring force. You know, restoring force means molecule is try to stretch. Okay, but due to restoring force, again positive and negative combine and becomes non-polar molecule. Okay, this stretching will stop when this external field will overcome or will balance the restoring force of each molecule. Okay, therefore non-polar molecule is stretched. Non-polar molecule is stretched and becomes polar and is called induced dipole and the moment is called induced dipole moment. And when we consider some non-polar substance, then it has very large number of molecules. Each molecule has its permanent dipole moment and in the presence of electric field, each dipole moment gets added and we get permanent dipole moment. But as long as the electric field removes, okay, this molecule again behaves like non-polar molecule. This substance again behaves like non-polar substance. A non-polar molecule remains polar as long as electric field is applied. So difference in polar and non-polar is, in polar, each molecule has its permanent dipole moment, each molecule. But substance which is made up of large number of molecules under the effect of zero electric field, the total momentum, the net dipole moment is zero. Okay, but when we apply external field, each dipole moment of each molecule gets added and we get permanent dipole moment. But in case of non-polar molecule, each molecule has permanent dipole moment zero because negative and positive ions coincide. But when we apply some electric field, molecules, the charges of the molecule get stretched and we get some permanent dipole moment under the effect of external electric field. Okay. Now whether molecule is polar or non-polar, Dielectric develops electric dipole moment only when the presence of external electric field. Okay. The dipole moment per unit volume is called polarization, denoted by capital P. Okay. Dipole moment divided by volume is called as polarization. And for linear isotropic dielectrics, you know what is linear isotropic dielectric? When induced dipole moment is in the direction of electric field and the induced dipole moment of different molecules gets added, give rise to net dipole moment in the direction of external electric field. In that case, polarization vector is equal to chi E electric field, where is chi E is the electric susceptibility of the dielectric medium and is characteristic of the dielectric. Now, let us discuss again the behavior of dielectric in uniform electric field, and we also see what is the reduced value of electric field. Okay, let us sum up this. Let us suppose we have a dielectric slab inside the uniform electric field. Now what will happen? Due to this uniform electric field, a uniform polarization will be developed. Okay, and that polarization will be denoted by capital P vector. Okay, because negative and positive charges are stretched and substance has been polarized because induced dipole moment has been produced here. Okay, now we know polarization is P vector equal to P. This small p is dipole moment, don't confuse with this. Small p is dipole moment and capital P is polarization. Okay, if we consider some small volume here, small volume, let us say delta V. Okay, then if P vector equal to net dipole moment divided by delta V, then what will be the net dipole moment? Net dipole moment will be P into delta V if we cross multiply this. Okay, now this delta V is the small volume element. Now this is small, but we know that in macroscopic scale there will be large number of molecules present over this small volume, and each volume has zero charge. But net dipole moment, how? Because positive charge of one molecule will get cancelled with negative charge of another molecule. Then positive of one cancels out with negative of adjacent molecule. Okay. So we consider any volume, the charge will be 0. Okay, the volume element is small but it contains very large number of molecules inside the dielectric. Every volume element contains no net charge but it has net dipole moment. You know what is dipole? Negative charge, positive charge separated by some distance, but net charge on the dipole is 0, but it has dipole moment which is q either charge into 2. Okay, so it means every volume element has no net charge because the positive charge of one dipole cancels out with the negative charge of the neighboring dipole, and the surface charge density only at the left and right surface of the dielectric. Here negative on the left and positive on the right, and inside the charges will cancel out with each other. So this positive charge and this negative charge will develop internal electric field which is known as polarized electric field, induced electric field. Okay. Now you know that external electric field is opposite to this induced electric field, but it is not equal to external electric field. So reduced value of the electric field will be E external minus E. This is the reduced value of electric field. Okay. Now, relation between magnitude of polarization and induced surface charge density. This induced surface charge density minus sigma p due to negative charges plus sigma p due to positive charges. Now, let us discuss the relation. Suppose we have dielectric slab having area A and thickness is D, and negative charge is this side and positive charge is this side. So electric dipole moment will be any charge QP into D. distance between the charges. Okay, if sigma p is the induced charge density, you know sigma is charge divided by area. Then charge will be sigma p into area. If we put this value here, we get net dipole moment sigma p a into d. Okay, what is A into D? Area into thickness, volume of the dielectric. Now, what is polarization vector according to the definition? It is the dipole moment divided by volume. So, dipole moment, put the value of dipole moment sigma P into V divided by the volume. Volume cancels out with volume and we get polarization vector is equal to induced surface charge density. Write in the vector form P vector dot n cap. N cap is the unit vector perpendicular to the surface of the dielectric. Okay. Now, what is electric susceptibility? Most of the dielectrics polarization vector is directly proportional to the applied electric field and this epsilon naught, which is permittivity of the free space, absolute permittivity of the free space. When we remove this proportionality sign, we get constant of proportionality, and this constant of proportionality is called electric susceptibility of the dielectric. What are the units of electric susceptibility? Chi equal to P over epsilon naught E. What is the units of P? P is net dipole moment divided by volume. Dipole moment Q into 2L and volume is volume. Coulomb meter divided by meter cube, which is coulomb meter inverse square. Coulomb meter inverse square. Okay. So epsilon naught we have already studied in chapter 1, Coulomb square, Newton inverse, meter inverse square, and electric field force divided by charge, Newton Coulomb inverse. And when we calculate this, we get chi e is unitless. Okay, chi e is purely a number, it is unitless. Now what is dielectric constant? Okay, it is the ratio of applied electric field. It is the ratio of applied electric field to the dielectric and the reduced value of electric field. Reduced value. Why reduced value? Because negative charge, positive charge here, and here induce some electric field EP, and the reduced value of electric field is E naught minus EP. Okay, so it is the ratio of applied electric field to the reduced value of electric field. And you know that applied electric field is always greater than the reduced value of electric field because it has been reduced. So it means K is always greater than 1, and K is also called specific inductive capacity SIC of a medium. Now relation between electric susceptibility and dielectric constant. We know reduced value of electric field is applied electric field and internal electric field, which is polarized electric field. Okay, so what will be E naught, that is E plus E. Okay, and what is the electric field on the surface of the conductor or dielectric? Sigma over epsilon naught. So it will be sigma P over epsilon naught, and we know sigma P is equal to polarization because here we have reduced the relation between polarization vector and sigma P, which is equal. Okay, so sigma P, write down P here, and what is P? P is chi E epsilon naught E. Put this value epsilon naught cancels by with epsilon naught. Now E 1 plus chi E, and E naught divided by E is K. So K equal to 1 plus chi E. This is the required relation between dielectric constant and electric susceptibility. So this was all about today's lecture. If you want PDF notes, you can ask me in comment section or you can follow me on my Telegram channel. Like the video. Don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you very much. Stay happy, stay healthy.